Week Nation, what's going on? Sharc Gaming here, back with another, I'd say, manga read. This is actually One Piece episode number 2. We are at Orangetown, right? Orangetown. This was about 2 volumes, whatever you want to call it. It was a good 200 and odd pages of reading. That was actually pretty good. Maybe 300 and odd pages actually. It was actually very interesting, and I'm sorry if like my takes might be a bit controversial, and I'm gonna try to predict the story as we go along, because yes, this is an anime. It is a cartoon. It is about a little youth that's, I think, 16 or 17 or something like that. I get it, but at the same time, it's very interesting, and it's so much more than just a cartoon. It has so many deeper meanings to it that you can't even begin to imagine. And as I was mentioning in the other video, that I said that Luffy seems that everywhere that he's going, he seems to be liberating everybody. He seems to be giving or encouraging people to stand up for what's right. You get me? There's a lot of oppression. Is oppression the right word? There's a lot of uproar. There's a lot of, I'd say, I think the word is oppression. There's a lot of things that are being done by Luffy that he is basically as if this is the trend so far. This person has been captured by this person. Luffy comes in, makes this person get the courage to fight this person. Obviously, this person cannot fight the person that captured them. Luffy then beats them, frees them, liberates them, and allows them to live out their dream. Then the other place, he does the same thing, because he freed Kobe, he freed Zoro, he freed the town that whatever town Romance Dawn was. You get me? They freed the town that Captain Morgan was the captain for. You get me? I really hope that I'm not messing this up, and I really hope that Orangetown wasn't the town that Captain Morgan was in charge of, because then I'd be like, wow, I just started this video saying that we're talking about Orangetown. I'm trying to remember the town that Buggy is at. I'm pretty sure it's Orangetown, right? I don't know, man. Bro, all I know is that I really like how at the start of this new volume that we got this big recap. Like, Oda gave the recap and gave you all the key characters and everything, and it's just like, like a previously on One Piece, you get it in the reading form, and I'm just like, bro, this is peak. If this is how all manga are, I might have to just start reading manga, because so far this is actually pretty peak. I can't lie. Like, people are telling me One Piece is too long. Maybe it's too short. I'm already 3 volumes in. You get me? Mind you, that's 600 odd pages. I'm already 3 volumes in, and I'm very invested. And I know that Luffy said he wants 9 or 10 crewmates, and we only gone 3 so far. You get me? And I know somebody has to betray somebody, and something has to happen, and that means you're gonna get each and every single one of their backstories and so forth and whatever. So there's just so much to unpack. But without further ado, I have a video for you, and we're gonna get into it. So we start obviously where we picked up where Nami basically, she was stealing some treasure from the Buggy clowns, 3 of them specifically. Luffy dropped out of the sky because Buggy told somebody to shoot him down, because a bird carried him. He and Zoro were lost, whatever. Very interesting, very wacky. You'd be like, yeah, this guy doesn't have any sense, but I believe he has a lot of sense. I believe Luffy is one of the smartest persons ever. Maybe not book smart, but he's definitely somebody that's very morally right. His moral compass is very accurate. I'll give you that. And he definitely reads people very well. And I'll say this to say that, right? Whereas most people have a specific notion of someone, Luffy doesn't. Luffy gives everybody a chance to kind of show your hands. And I'll explain it this way. When Nami just met Luffy, for argument's sake, she was like, oh, we make a good team. We should team up, whatever. Luffy's like, not interested. Don't care. Because there was nothing that Nami showed him. If anything, Nami kind of showed him, I'd say, betrayal and mischievous from the get-go. Anyway, they decided to go eat some food. Luffy's discussing with Nami. I'm trying to remember this correctly. Luffy's discussing with Nami about her plans. Oh yeah, we should team up. Luffy's like, nah, he's a pirate. Nami hates pirates. She said that she lost someone dear to her that's a pirate, and she hates pirates, whatever the case may be. But she was saying how she's an amazing navigator, so that means that we're going to get a backstory. I thought we were going to get a backstory for Nami right then and there, because usually when people give a story, I lost someone dear to me, they usually get a backstory, and there are at least maybe 2 or 3 backstories in this whole arc, if you call it an arc. So we got Buggy's backstory with Shanks. We didn't get his actual backstory. We just got his Buggy's backstory with Shanks. We got this dog named Chouchou's backstory, and I think we might have gotten like a semi backstory of the of the mayor of the town, but I'm kind of spoiling it, or I'm going ahead of myself. We haven't reached that section as yet. Anyway, Nami says that, hey, she got the map of the Grand Line, but she really wants the treasure because she needs 100 million berries to buy a specific place or a specific town. So I assume that, as I know that Nami is obviously going to join the crew, we're eventually going to go to this place and we're eventually going to see her buy this place or whatever the case may be. Or maybe Luffy will eventually liberate. He's going to liberate that place as well, you know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, then come on. Like, that seems to be the trend, you know. It's very predictable, but it's just in the ways that he's doing it, and then to see how they were oppressed in the first place, that really gets you. That's what hooks you as a story, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, not to get ahead of myself again, we're there. Zoro, obviously, as I said in the last video, he is rowing. Well, he has 3 other guys that he saved from the shipwreck, that Nami caused them to be shipwrecked, and they're rowing towards the place because they know where they're going. So they're basically bringing him to the island that Buggy is at. You get me? Cool. Anyway, Nami gets an idea. She's like, okay, here what we're gonna do. She ties up Luffy, brings her to Buggy, and then because she doesn't like pirates, so she's like, I don't really care what happens to this guy anyway. I don't care. But that's what she says. She says that she doesn't care, and this is how I know that she has value, right? This is how I know that she's actually, as much as she claims that she's a thief and she's a criminal and she don't like pirates and they're scums and she'll never like them and she'll whatever. Buggy, who is this guy? I thought that low-key he carried this arc because he was funny and serious at the same time. Funny sometimes, serious sometimes. He's somebody who was having like a hearing problem because one of his persons said something to him and he thought that, like, I think he said who knows or some crap like that, and Buggy heard it as big nose or some foolishness, and Buggy was like, are you calling my nose big? And he blasted him with the Buggy ball, whatever the case may be. Buggy, because basically how Nami went to Buggy is that, hey, I stole the map, but to be completely honest, I shouldn't have done it. It's this guy right here. He's my boss. He made me steal it, and I no longer like him. I want to join the crew. So this guy's tied up. Remember, none of them know that Buggy has a devil fruit. You know what I'm saying? Not Buggy. None of them know that Luffy has a devil fruit. You get me? Which is funny because if you've seen like the trend of who Luffy has fought so far, fought a sea creature, fought Alvida, a pirate, no devil fruit. Fought a Navy Admiral, devil fruit. Now he's fighting his first real pirate with a devil fruit. Cool. That's quite interesting. I assume we're eventually going to get to a captain, a Navy captain, or whatever the case may be, that has a devil fruit. But I guess when we reach that bridge, we're going to cross it. Because it seems like we're just progressively getting better. Because I think we're going to move from a world where right now the power level is just human level. So anybody with a devil fruit has the advantage over any of these puny humans. You get me? Unless you're Zoro or Nami or whatever the case may be. But it's going to reach a level where most people have devil fruits. Most people have some other form of like power level or whatever the case may be. That now this is like the norm. This is the regular. You get me? So I feel like the story is going to progressively get stronger and stronger. But let's not jump ahead because, I mean, that's not in this video anyway. We only got, like, as I said, the pirate with devil fruit. And I know as I go, I'm just ranting about this. But it's just, it's just the truth. But in continuation now, they started celebrating like pirates, whatever. Luffy's in there, and Nami is like, hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, gang. I'm really just here to steal this treasure from Buggy. I'm gonna find a way to steal this treasure from him. He'll probably sell you, he'll probably kill you, he'll probably sell you, he'll probably do all sorts of stuff there. I don't know what he's gonna do to you. Remember, she doesn't like pirates, so she has Luffy with the wrong connotation. She has him with the wrong notion. She thinks that he's a bad person this whole time. Obviously, he's a good pirate, but remember, from the outside looking in, all pirates are scum. If a pirate killed my friend or family or whosoever, I would hate every single pirate because that's just how it is. Anyway, we move on and we're there. Luffy is about to be executed by Buggy. Buggy says, hey, Nami, since you hate this guy and you're going to pledge your loyalty to us, he has this big cannon called a Buggy cannon, or a cannon that has Buggy paws. And it's some wicked explosion. I'm telling you, they tried it out. He tested it out just to show it, which never makes sense to me, because why not just kill the person with the first shot? Why do you have to show how powerful it is? I guess that's the author's way of showing how much danger the person is in. But if you don't realize, Luffy has been nerfed from day one, because if he's already tied up and Zoro is not there, there's no true measure to show how strong Buggy is or how big a threat Buggy is. Because if the usual trope where the antagonist or the hero he faces the villain first and loses, then he'd be like, oh my god, this is OP. Luffy's not fighting back. He's not in a position to fight back. He's literally tied up and he's inside of a cage that Zoro later on says it's too thick for him to cut. You get me? Anyway, so you know that Buggy Loki isn't that OP, but I'm gonna tell you why he's OP, because for the story, I guess they're gonna be nerfing people, because as we go along until they get a doctor, because I would get a doctor next arc. You get me? The next arc has to be a doctor. That's just logical. But because I don't know if they know where they're going, maybe they won't be getting a doctor next arc. And I feel like the longer it takes for them to get a doctor is the more nerfed they're gonna be, because people like Zoro is probably gonna be, considering that he's hurt right now. As I said, I'm skipping the gun, but considering that Zoro is hurt right now, more than likely he's gonna be hurt like for the rest of the flipping overarching arc. You get me? The quote unquote East Blue Saga, because they kind of give you like a what's the name, like a, not a summary, they give you a arc listed, because you have the East Blue arc and then you have Baroque, where I don't know the names, but anyway, basically he's like, yo, I need you to show your loyalty to me, so I need you to actually fire this buggy cannon or buggy ball at Luffy. And Nami's like, I don't want to do this. Luffy's looking at her and smiling, and it's like, what's the problem? Are you a bitch? He didn't say that, but what's the problem, you know? She's like, oh, just because she doesn't like pirates doesn't mean that she's gonna stick or stoop to the level of a pirate, you know what I'm saying? If she really, you know, she's never do that. So anyway, I think one person from the buggy crew come up and they're like, oh, don't worry, you forget how to light it, whatever. Him light it and Nami take out this staff thingy and start putting boot to ass, bro. Nami can fight, I'll tell you that. Nami start whooping the buggy clown pirates, whatever you want to call them, like whatever. And it's like, what happened after that? I don't remember 100%, but basically she started whooping the ass, and then they started attacking her. But then Luffy told her, hey, the match is still lit and the cannon is about to blow. Obviously, it's a big, heavy cannon, so imagine that it's not like she can move it out of the way, and she can't move the big, heavy cage, because apparently it took 5 persons to move the cage that Luffy's in. So she's in a predicament. This girl selflessly grabs the I don't know what you call it, but you know the thing, the little oh my god, I'm trying to remember, the rope that comes out of the cannon that you light it and then it goes in and it fires. She literally grabs that with her bare hands, like I'm grabbing this microphone right now, and she stops it with her hand. And obviously the buggy pirates were attacking her in the moment, and Zoro appeared out of nowhere. You know, he came out and he attacked them and whatever the case may be. So Zoro to the rescue, the regular hero trope. And basically Zoro challenged Buggy, you know. They went to a duel. Buggy took out all of his knives and they went off for each other. Zoro sliced him in like 5, 6, 7 pieces. They were like, oh, this is too easy, whatever. Zoro turned around. He's there trying to find a way to get Luffy free. All of the buggy pirates are laughing. You'd suspect that somebody just sliced down your captain easily. You should be worried, but they're all laughing. You know, they laughed, and then all of a sudden Zoro just felt something in his side, basically, which is why I said he's going to be injured like for most of the arc, isn't he? Anyway, or most of the saga, I think the saga is the better word, he literally stabbed him in his side with just a hand showing, because apparently Buggy has the chop fruit, so he basically negates, he's like the only weakness for Zoro's, well, I guess there could be a weakness for Zoro's swords as well, because, you know, swords are metal or any type of alloy like that. So if somebody had like a rust fruit, because you have chop, you have gum, I imagine you probably have a fire, water, you know what I'm saying, earth, mud, fruit. It goes on, you know what I'm saying. I think it's just anything that the tree can produce. I don't know what kind of trees there are, but if somebody have a rust fruit, low-key Zoro's sword could go. If somebody has like a fruit that could make objects dull, or maybe I'm overthinking, you get me? Somebody could also have like a fruit that, like a steel fruit. So like maybe their body could turn like steel. You get me? Like heart, like somebody could, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my god. But basically they become like impenetrable for like a specific moment. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, if you can find, I guess, alloys or metals that are stronger than whatever metals are in Zoro's sword, low key, like a stone. No, I think he could probably cut stones. But anyway, we can get into that another day. Like a rock fruit. I'm not even sure. What about like you know the volcanic stones? You have granite, obsidian, like an obsidian fruit. Fruit. I don't know. I'm sorry, I go off on tangents all the while. I'm just thinking about it, you know. Anyway, he stabs Zoro literally in his side, and Zoro starts to bleed. You know, he's in an issue, and basically they're back against the wall. Luffy tells Zoro, "Hey, run." Zoro look at him like, "Huh?" Luffy just look at him and smirk. And Zoro look and say, "Oh, got it." You get me? And then Zoro goes, "So boops now." Run behind while Buggy was still attacking, run behind the cannon, lift it up and point it towards Buggy them, and then Nami light it, and all of the pirates get rid of. Zoro then took up, Zoro is low-key aura, like he's filled with aura because he lifts up that heavy cage that took 5 person to lift up, by the way. He then says, Nami's like, yo, or maybe it was Luffy, yo, mind your guts, cause mind your guts, them spill out. And he said, I'll just put them back in. That can't define me. I'm just like, bro, this guy is low-key OP, like he might become one of my favorite characters, bro. Like, yo, Zoro, oh my god, bro. Zoro, everything, bro. He's like one of the greatest persons ever. But yeah, I read online that you can call him Zoro, so I've been calling him Zoro all episode. I don't know if you realize, because the last episode I was just Zolo. Anyway, they move away, they pop up, ironically, at this pet store. There's this dog there. Nami finds the key, and she has the map, I believe, or she doesn't have the map. But she finds the key for the cage, so Luffy can come out. She gives Luffy the key and say, hey, thank you for saving me earlier. I still don't like you, but you saved me, so I'm gonna give you the key. I'm not gonna open it for you, because logically, she should have just opened the cage for him. She put the key right beside the cage for Luffy to get it. And the dog that was there, named Chouchou, by the way, he's very important to the story. He then swallows the key, and Luffy literally grabs him and says, yo, I need this, and whatever. Long story short, Buggy he has 2 very important crew members. He has Mohji, the lion tamer, and he has, I don't remember the other guy's name, but he's some acrobatic swordsman that's very interesting. He's just a crook, but he's like the definition low-key of like a pirate, because pirates aren't supposed to be fair. So I quite like this fight with Zoro, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, basically what happened is that the mayor came, the mayor came, and he took Zoro, put Zoro inside of his in his room to kind of sleep. That's gonna be very important for later. And so it's just Chouchou, Luffy inside the cage, and Nami and what's the guy's name, the mayor. Basically what happened is that, as you can imagine, this Mohji guy is a lion tamer, so he came with this huge ass lion, and him low-key did look like him have aura at first. Him saying come for kill Rowan or Zoro or whatever the case may be, the great pirate hunter, whatever the case may be. Luffy's like, hey, he's not here, whatever. And I guess because they don't know that he has a devil fruit, or that he has devil fruit power, they're underestimating Luffy. Because as I said, up to this point, Luffy hasn't fought as yet. So that's what I'm saying, like, he's literally been nerfed all arc. So it's like, because he's been nerfed all arc, they don't know how dangerous he is. So basically, logically, he then gets, or illogically, he gets the lion to bite Luffy, basically eat him, but it ends up freeing Luffy out of the cage, even though technically kind of made him fly through some buildings. Then he went for the pet store, which the pet store is actually a backstory. So this dog named Chouchou, he was actually protecting the store because his owner told him to protect the store while he was gone. But truth in told, that his owner, that they've been together for actually 10 years, died. He went to the hospital to get some meds, and he died inside the hospital. And it's now been, I guess, weeks or months or however long it's been, and Chouchou is still there protecting it. That is just showing how loyal and how trustworthy this Chouchou dog is, and it's just so pure. Because what happened is that when Buggy took over Orangetown, if that's the actual name of the place, the town folk had to flee. And all of the town folk flee except for Chow Chow. And every single day, then the mayor sneaks back into Orangetown and feeds Chow Chow every single day while Chow Chow is there guarding the store, and he has been biting a lot of pirates and people were trying to steal anything from the pet store for the longest while. So that's just a noble dog in my opinion. He believes probably the same notion that Nami has, that hey, anybody that's a pirate is a bad person. He doesn't know good from bad because he's just probably been learned his entire life that pirates are bad. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with him. It makes sense. So, long story short now, because Luffy has been blasted away, the lion tamer now says, hey, all right, fine, you know, let's go in this pet store and get some food for you. I don't know the lion name, but, you know, he went in there and the dog was there fighting, trying. Bro, it was so sad. This small little dog basically getting dog handled, you know what I'm saying, by Mohji and the lion, and it's just so sad. And he fought real hard, and then Luffy finally came back and saw the dog outside barking at the pet store. The only caveat to it is that the pet store is actually on fire. You know how sad that is? This dog, the only thing that the owner had, or the dog had rather, of the owner left was his store. That was his treasure. And they burnt his treasure to the ground. Luffy got mad and put belt to ass, bro. He whooped Mohji and the lion's ass. Proper whoop, like proper whoop. I'm telling you, like, yo, I don't think you understand. Luffy whooped the lion first, easy. And then he grabbed Mohji when Mohji realized that he has the gum fruit or the rubber fruit or whatever the case may be. And he grabbed him. I don't think, let me reenact it. He basically held his hand from a distance, and then swung his hand all the way back, because you know it's rubber. Swung his hand all the way back like it's rubber. And came back in like kind of like a jet whip. And knocked that guy out like his Debo from Friday, bro. Absolutely beautiful. I was just impressed. I was just like, yeah, that's Luffy is real for that. So then Nami came back, thought that, oh, Luffy was ridiculing the dog, but he literally brought back the only thing that he could salvage, which was one of the pet foods that Mohji had left. And he said, hey, I know that you were fighting hard. I didn't really see you fight because I wasn't here, but I know that you were fighting hard. That is the only thing I could give you. Now, the dog, who was basically set to stay right in front of that pet store forever, to just guard it, he now has something that's smaller and portable that he can bring around him. He now has the last pet food that was inside of the owner's store. So basically, he liberated the dog from having to be there. The dog could then join the refugees. And Nami saw that act and he's like, what's going on here? Like, this guy is not a real pirate, because pirates are supposed to be mean and heartless. Why would he save the dog's treasure? Like, what? I'm so confused right now. What's happening? Why is he actually behaving like a good person? Is this some sort of trick? Like, help me to understand. Like, she was just, she was just bewildered. She doesn't know what's going on. It's like slowly but surely throughout this arc, Luffy is changing her perspective on the matter, and it's just so interesting to see. And this is why obviously she's gonna eventually end up joining the crew. Long story short now, the mayor, after seeing Luffy put belt to ass to Mohji, he's like, hey, I am the mayor of this town. I built this shit brick by brick. And this young guy who has no affiliation with this country or this town or whatever the case may be has come and he's fighting harder than I've ever fought a day in my life. We've been literally hiding. We've literally been hiding from Buggy for the longest while, and we've been afraid. Just like how Kobe was afraid of Alvida. Now, magically, this guy grows a pair of nuts and say, hey, I'm going to go to Buggy right now and I'm going to demand that I cook his ass right now. Easily. He went to Buggy, long story short. Buggy attacked him. The mayor was putting up like a good resistance. Not like good fight, he wasn't fighting Buggy, but was putting up a good resistance, like he wasn't easy to kill, you get me? Luffy ended up saving him, and then the mayor was like, no, get out of this fight, this is not your fight to make. I hate when people do that, like, bro, just take the help. It's not your fight to make, it's gonna mess up my honor, whatever the case may be. Luffy just knocked him out, bro. Luffy knocked him out, and then there was something that Luffy did that was very interesting that they still haven't explained to us yet, but I guess, because, man, Buggy Ball, Buggy fired a buggy ball after Luffy, Nami, and Zoro, because Zoro finally wake up now because Buggy had fired a ball earlier and it basically blew off the roof of the house that Zoro was sleeping in. So Luffy now wake up. I mean Zoro now wake up and the three of them are there. He fired a buggy ball after all of them after him knock out the mayor. Luffy then kind of and went in a balloon and did like I don't know if you call it gum balloon or whatever the case may be, but he basically became like a big balloon to then bounce off back the ball and basically take out some of the buggy pirates, which kind of neutralized the whole effect of a buggy ball. And that's why I'm saying that if Luffy was outside of the cage from day one, this arc wouldn't be as interesting as it is, because now since the protagonist has, what's what I'm looking for, he has limitations, you have to find different ways how to get around that limitation, which then gives you enough time as the author and the reader to learn more about Buggy and his importance to the story. Long story short though, we find out that Buggy actually was on the same crew as Shanks back in the day, and he hates Shanks because Shanks stole something from him or caused him to become a demon or whatever the case may be, but he didn't, because I don't know. Buggy got a devil fruit that apparently was worth 100 million berries, and he basically he said that he was going to eat the devil fruit. He actually changed it out with a regular fruit, acted as if he ate the fruit, and then he was going to hide away, because first of all he stole this treasure map, and then he stole the devil, or he took the devil fruit, you know what I'm saying, and he was going to basically sell the devil fruit for 100 mil and I guess start his whole pirate crew. Shanks he didn't even find out. Shanks was just there talking to him. And because Buggy is just mischievous and he doesn't know how to lie, doesn't know how to hide things, he literally ate the devil fruit by accident, and now he blames Shanks for that. Like, it's so stupid, because in my head I'm just like, it's literally all your fault. If you just take accountability for your actions, you wouldn't be in this situation right now. You're so flipping stupid, bro, and that just shows that you're just not trustworthy. But yeah, we ended up having one of the funniest fights where Luffy was basically putting boot to Buggy's. I'd just like to apologize because this whole time I thought this mic was working, but it actually wasn't. Let me see. Yeah, so this whole time I thought that this microphone was working, but it wasn't. It's when I was looking at the light and I saw that it wasn't even red. I was like, darn it, I just recorded maybe 30 minutes worth of footage and it has the regular audio. Luckily, I speak very fast and this house is very empty. But I don't remember 100% where I was, but they were having one of the funniest fights where Luffy was actually fighting Buggy, and, you know, obviously Buggy was low-key. He was doing good for somebody who, you know, is very difficult to catch his parts, but there's a limitation. He can fly, but his feet are going to stay on the ground. So because of that, there have been multiple times where Buggy is trying to attack multiple people at one time. You get me? And Luffy ended up first of all, Luffy kicked that guy in his nuts. That was a smart thing to do. I'm so sorry. Luffy kicked that guy in his nuts. That was one of the smartest things I've ever done. And there was something that I missed out earlier that was very important, where Luffy, when Buggy stabbed Zoro in the back, he said, "You coward! How can you be fighting people from behind them? Be a man and face them in the front." That was one of the times that Nami was like, "Why does this guy sound honorable?" You know. And then I kind of skipped out the fight where Zoro and this guy was fighting, where to me it's a very valid fight. He wasn't that good, but he had a lot of tricks like smoke bombs and tactics where he was fighting Zoro. And this is why I say Zoro is aura incarnate. You get me? Zoro was fighting this guy. I still don't know his name. Pretty sure I can find it right here in the book because it's very important, of course. He's very important to the story, which is why I should probably get his name. Just give me a second. I have it here actually. He is Buggy's second mate or whatever you want to call him. I don't remember his name specifically, but he's actually very important to the story. His name is Cabaji. That's his name, Cabaji. Cool design, I can't lie. If I'm being completely honest, as I was saying, like, you know, they had a nice fight where he's actually like a swordsman that's using like a unicycle while fighting. And there was like this like a part where I'm telling you, remember Zoro is injured to the side. Funny guy, by the way. He thought that sleeping for like 10 minutes would have healed him, and he got up and said, "Yes, I feel better." Bro, you're bleeding. You lost a lot of blood and you fainted and you fell asleep. Don't piss me off right now, Zoro. But anyway, basically, they were there and Cabaji started fighting Zoro because he's like, "Hey, I'm a swordsman and I want to whoop Zoro's ass. I need this reputation to go up." Zoro was there talking tough, bro. But it's like maybe Zoro was allowing him to get in his hits. I don't know, because it's like he seemed so strong at first. Cabaji seemed so strong. Bro, Cabaji is there slicing the same. Like, I'm telling you, he was fighting like a pirate. I don't care what anybody wants to say. He was fighting like a pirate, and it was very brilliant. He was aiming after all of the weaknesses that Zoro was there. He was aiming after Zoro's injuries, and Nami's like, "You coward! Why are you aiming after his injuries? Da 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 da, whatever the case may be." And Zoro's like, "Yo, I don't want any excuses." Zoro stopped himself in that same injury and says, "Yo, is this enough injury for you? I don't want any excuses for when I whoop your ass." And Zoro unleashes. There was an attack where my guy went up all the way in the air and coming down back at Zoro on the ground. And Buggy then fling an arm, I think, after Zoro. Because he can detach his arms. He flung an arm after Zoro. And Luffy just got involved and said, "Stay out of the man, them fight." You know, she said, "You see me, we're trying to be as honorable as possible." Man, I don't know, man. I don't know. That just... Nami over there like, bro, how is this guy so honorable, bro? Because they made an agreement where Luffy said, and I quote, no, Nami said, "If you can get, I'm gonna go over here and get this treasure, you get me, and if you can get the map of the Grand Line, I'll join your crew." Luffy was like, "Okay, because I need a navigator, and you say you're a navigator, and whatever the case may be, so I want you. So I'm gonna get you." You get me? That's what he essentially says to all of his team members or crewmates so far. "I want you, and you're gonna come with me. That's all I'm like. You don't have no choice. There's no choice in the matter. You're gonna come with me. Okay? All right. As long as it's understood." And anyway, Zoro was, then allowed to fight Cabaji by himself, bro. And my guy used this thing called onigiri or onigiri and whooped Cabaji's ass, bro. Easy. But then he fell asleep again and he said, "Yo," this is how he trusts Luffy, and he just met him. He said, "Yo, handle that cap. You good. You got this. Just do your thing. I'm gonna go sleep. You get me? I'm gonna go sleep right now." And as I said, Luffy and Buggy continued to fight. There was a part where Nami was stealing some treasure, and he came over there to come fight her, and Nami swung this big heavy bag of treasure off his Buggy. He thought that it was off of his head alone, so he thought that Nami would have like slapped him for 6 or slapped him for a home run. He didn't actually, because his hands came out of nowhere and held him, and then he was about to stab her. Basically what happened is that Luffy then grabbed his feet, took out his shoes and started tickling his foot and pinching him or whatever. That was such brilliance. Like, don't get me wrong, you could have just stabbed him foot, you could have done all sorts of things to it that was more, I guess, dangerous, but he decided to do something that was funny, you get me, because, he's ticklish. But if he wasn't ticklish, though, wouldn't Nami be in trouble? You get me? If he wasn't ticklish, would Nami be in trouble? That's that's the question that I have, Oh, it looks like my mic actually kicked out again. I don't even care. I'll just keep talking, and then next episode, I'm going to make sure that everything is right. But yes, basically what happens is that afterwards now, afterwards, basically defeat Buggy, because when Buggy came back together, he found out that half of his body was missing, like his entire body was missing. So it was just his head with his arms and his legs. His feet, sorry, none of his legs, none of his arm, none of his upper body, none of that, because Nami already tied it up. So when he got back together, it was just him alone. So then Luffy basically did the gum thing and knocked him into space orbit or wherever, into the sky, which was very important. And then the town folk that were the refugees came over because the mayor didn't come back after such a long time. So they were like, "Yo, I haven't heard from the mayor in so long. I hope he didn't go over there trying to feed Chouchou and got injured." But Chouchou came back and he didn't come back. So something sounds off. And we've been hearing a lot of commotion going on over there. So there's no way he's safe. They went over back and they're like, "What happened?" Because, they come back, they don't see no Buggy. They see these 3 people, whatever the case may be. And they see the 3 people and the mayor knock out on the ground. And Luffy's just so honest. Nami is like, "We can't tell them we're pirates." They're like, "Who are you?" "We're pirates." And they're like, "What happened to the mayor?" I knocked him out, because he did. Very honest. He's not going to hide and talk. He's not going to lie. I like this guy, bro. He's cool. You get me? He's honorable. Anyway, long story short, they went and they continued, and they started running away. And the crowd was catching him up, because Luffy has to bring Zoro, because Zoro is knocked out, you know what I'm saying? Or half unconscious. Can't move because he lost a lot of blood, which is why I said they need to get a doctor ASAP, but nobody's listening to me, because out of the 10 crewmates Luffy wants, there has to be a doctor in it. Has to be. And I just think logically you should get a doctor ASAP, like maybe the next one, because hey, if you keep healing up the people, you can live. But if you guys get in a serious fight and everybody's injured, you're cooked. But maybe, I'm not the author, I'm not Luffy, so I can shut my mouth and call it a day. Long story short though, while they're escaping, the dog, Chouchou, came back and started barking after the villagers and prevented the villagers from attacking Luffy and the others, which then helped them to escape. And then when the mayor got up, he then ran down Luffy them and tell him, "Hey, thank you. I can't believe you guys saved me. I'm really grateful, everlastingly grateful to all of you guys. You guys have been nothing but helpful to me. I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you so much. Like, you know, that was showing that he was a very grateful person. Very, very nice to see. I can't lie. Very touches the heart, if we're being completely honest. You know what I'm saying? But in continuation, like about the whole thing, what happened after that? After that, now, they were going back in the boat. Basically, Nami had split the loot up because there was too much for her to carry. Remember, there are now 3 members in the crew, you get me? I still think that Nami is probably going to betray them. I don't think Zora is going to betray them. I think every single time we meet a new crewmate, I'll decide if Nami will betray them or if the new crewmate will betray them, because somebody's going to betray them. I just don't know who yet, because somebody has to betray somebody. Not necessarily betray as in kill them or the case may be, but if you constantly just keep meeting people like this and there's no betrayal, something's wrong. You get me? It's too unrealistic, although it is an anime about pirates and rubberman and devil fruit, so I guess it could be unrealistic. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. But regardless of the fact, just in thinking about it, you know, Luffy actually left because remember they damaged, not them, but Buggy basically damaged most of the town and left it for dead basically. Luffy left half of the treasure and said, hey, I'm leaving that with the town people so that they can rebuild because they're gonna need the money. And Nami's like, don't ever do this again. But it's changing her perspective overall. So she's eventually gonna be bought by Luffy, but I don't think it's gonna be bought that easy because remember, at the end of the day, a pirate killed her person. I don't know, somebody who was very important to her, and because of that, she's not gonna trust a pirate because of one good action or a series of good action. It have to be like over a specific amount of time, maybe a week, maybe 2 days, maybe 5 days, maybe 2 months. It's just she have to constantly be around the pirates and see that hey, there's a different type of pirate out there that I may not like every single pirate, but I like this version of pirate, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're gonna read the next arc. I think the next arc is like Syrup Village or one of those things based on what I was looking at online. So we're gonna read that. That's volumes 3 to 5. That should be very interesting. And then we're gonna get into it and we're just gonna leave it alone. So put in the comment section, let me know. I got 1 comment on the last video. Very, very grateful for that. 1 comment is better than no comment, I'll tell you that. Probably got like 9 or 10 views as well. So hey, maybe we can try to get 15 this time. And then after that we get 20. But yes, let me know what you guys think. I'm sorry for the audio this video. It's probably echoey and whatever the case may be. Next video I'll get better audio, okay? I apologize, but I'm out.